I'll start off with the Daily Graphic and front page stories. President signs 24-hour economy law, paves way for economic transformation framework. Other stories on the front page of Daily Graphic. GRA National Security sees trucks in tax evasion bust. COCOBOD pays 1 billion Ghana cedis to cocoa farmers.
Okay.
Let me take you to the BNFT this morning. The big story says high NPLs, non-performing loans, scare banks from lending to businesses. Also on the front page this morning, search intensified for 6 missing trucks in 85 million Ghana cedi transit case. Another story on the front page this morning says premix sector records 27 million Ghana cedis in irregularities. And economic dissonance threatens peace, security. This is according to Justice Sophia Akufo.
Okay, let me take you to the Informer newspaper. The big story on the front page, Kisia Jabing survives Machiavellian tactics as baseless petitions fall flat. Comes with a picture of the special prosecutor Kisia Jabing and Martin Pebu. Other stories, cocoa farmers yell at Mahama, restore our price now. Serene Insurance backs local capacity to underwrite marine cargo risks. Also, Bosom Trade District, poor roads, resource constraints, force expectant mothers to deliver at home. And man, 60 years in NACOC grip.
Let me take you to the Chronicle. Mahama's 855 million Ghana cedi hamper for cocoa farmers. Also on the front page this morning, cocoa farmers protest mid-season price cut. We saw the videos yesterday. They are not happy.
Exactly.
I have the Daily Guide newspaper now, and their big story today, majority justifies cocoa price cuts as government releases 855 million Ghana cedis for farmers. Also, AG failed to make case against me, and that's according to Wontumi Bernard and Chibwesiakon. And also Russian tourist identity in dispute. I thought that had been settled. Okay. And Mahama signs 24-hour economy bill. Also man 60 nabbed over guns, drug sales, etc.
Let me tell you about what's happening on the front page of the news center. Big story after Goldfields handover on April 18. What next for Damang? No successor named as up to 1,500 jobs hang in balance. Also on the front page this morning, cocoa farmers embark on demo over price cut. An MPP chairman aspirants to pay 50,000 Ghana cedis in filing fee.
Okay, finally, the Inquisitor is reported on its front page. Agenda to remove SP cartel humbled. TCDA CEO makes solid proposal at Tree Crop Summit. May Allah grant you strength for the Ramadan. That's according to Napo, wishing that for Muslims. Free land for Mahama's project, Mida tells chiefs.
Let me take you finally to the Ghanaian Point this morning. Kwewu Business Forum 2026 promises bigger platform for enterprise, innovation, and access to capital. Comes with a photograph of the Chief of Staff, Julius Debra, who is smiling beautifully here on the front page. Also on the front page this morning, GRA National Security intercept 12 trucks loaded with cooking oil, spaghetti in 85 million Ghana cedi suspected tax evasion scheme. This is serious. That's just one operational 85 million Ghana cedi. This is crazy. Also, COCOBOD needs some 30 billion Ghana cedis to remain operational. This is coming in from the majority side in Parliament. And resetting Ghana's mining sector. Mahama pushes indigenous participation and local value addition.
Okay, so I have the headlines for Herald here. Mystery surrounds murder of Sami Jemfi's father-in-law by armed robbers. IGP told to act. Sad one. The Ghana goes ruthless with Russian sex video maker. His name, age, and image released. And then 12 articulated trucks caught evading 85 million Ghana cedi in taxes. 6 missing. That's the story you raised earlier. And $7 million LPG fund transfer sparks energy sector uproar against John Jinapor. If you go to ChannelOneNewsOnline.com, students who attack teachers will face the law. This is the Education Ministry warning. There's a lot on COCOBOD related stories. COCOBOD directors forfeit allowances amid crisis. We're told they've also forfeited their sitting allowance. I think it's the same story here. Government to raise 30 billion Ghana cedi domestic bond to rescue COCOBOD. This is Ata Issa. And then still on Cocoa, Honorable member for Bodi, right, Samson Ahi, he says MPP is behind Sefiri also cocoa protests, and Akufo-Addo appointees must be punished over cocoa sector crisis. This is the majority, and government tertiary education unions ordered back to talks, and CLOSAG declares nationwide strike from March 9. CDD assessment. Minority says they will keep offering policy alternatives for Ghana. This is upon Kuma. And on the Burkina Faso killings, guess what Parliament has been doing? They've been engaged in fiery debate over Poalogu Dam debate.
An utterly irresponsible conduct, in my respectful view. When people die in another country and a statement is made to that effect, you don't reduce it to political football. It is a very, very, very dark sport on our conscience, and members of parliament have got to know better. You make your submissions in a respectful way, out of respect for the people who have died. You don't go and do
it. Reduces it all to some charade, does it not?
People were laughing.
They reduced it, making jokes about you chop money, you didn't build, and pointing fingers at each other.
Do we see what happens elsewhere?
Very distasteful for the whole parliament. To reduce a serious matter to that.
8 of your citizens have died in another country. A statement is made on the floor. We have got to see some class.
Consistently, I ask whose interest is Parliament in, because they don't represent the ordinary Ghanaian, any of us sitting here.
It's such a shame.
It's a shame. Do better, honorable members. Now, if you go to citynewsroom.com, T-bills lead as 43% of Gen Z say they have no investment. This is according to KPMG. Okada accidents claim 4 lives daily as road fatalities rise. This is according to the Ghana Institute of Engineers. So these are some stories on citynewsroom.com. Mahama's research agenda credible in intent, uneven in delivery. This is CDD Ghana. Now, if you go to the High Street Journal, Bernard Avle's courage, Ghana's healthcare failure, and the business cost we ignore. An interesting feature on the death of the 29-year-old engineer who was knocked, killed, and taken to 3 hospitals and rejected over claims of no beds. That's a big one on the High Street Journal. If you go to my Joy Online this morning, water crisis disrupting production. AGI president warns industrialization at risk. And then we are also told that strong currency but expensive power. AGI president explains why prices stay high. And if you go to the BBC, police investigations into Andrew continues as former prince released from custody. You should have followed the BBC to see how the palace, absorbed itself from what was going on and said the law should take its course and all that. It was quite a sight to behold. And Trump's foreign policy dilemma laid bare by Iran tensions. How much could Andrew's arrest hurt the British royal family? Question here with some answers on the BBC.
Okay, so let me tell you about this story that is particularly troubling. Page 4 of the Ghanaian Point has a story, other versions in other newspapers. GRA National Security intercepts from 12 trucks loaded with cooking oil, spaghetti in 85 million Ghana cedi suspected tax evasion scheme. The story says a joint operation by the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority and the National Security has led to the interception of 12 articulated trucks loaded with assorted food products and in what officials have described as a major suspected tax evasion scheme involving an estimated 85.3 million Ghana cedis in revenue. Now, the overnight enforcement exercise conducted between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. along the Dowenya-Tema Road targeted a convoy of 18 trucks that had reportedly been electronically gated out of the customs system as transit goods from Akanu, which is near my place, declared as bound for Niger through Kudungugu. Now, custom officials disclosed that although the trucks were clearly electronically, they were allegedly moving without the mandatory customs human escort, a serious violation of Ghana's transit protocols. And it goes on to provide further details. A similar version of the story is in the BNFT. You find that on page 3. Search intensifies for 6 missing trucks in 85 million Ghana City transit
Okay,
case.
still related to crime, the Daily Graphic is reporting on page 30.
Yeah.
Ghana Water uncovers illegal water connection at mineral water factory in Klagon. The story by Benjamin Shonam Glover reads, officials of Ghana Water Limited have uncovered an illegal water connection at a mineral water production facility in the Klagon area near Tema. The discovery was made by one of 10 special anti-non-revenue water task teams recently inaugurated by the company's management. The teams have established following internal assessments which reveal that approximately 52% of treated water produced by GWL cannot be accounted for, resulting in significant revenue losses that affect operations and service delivery. The exercise forms part of intensified efforts to curb non-revenue water losses across the country.
Okay, let me also just draw your attention quickly to a story you find on the front page of the BNFT, the details on page 2, talking about irregularities within the premise sector. We're told a lot of the people in that sector receiving our oil, which has been to a large extent subsidized, they are chopping the money or they are just misbehaving anyhow and are not accounting for it. And some 27 million Ghana cedis so far is an issue. So some reforms are about to be done to deal with that particular problem.
Right.
Okay, now let me come back to the front page of the Daily Graphic. President Mahama signs 24-hour economy law.
Yeah.
And Kester Abram Crunchy is reporting President John Mahama yesterday assented to the 24-hour economy authority bill, paving the way for implementation of a policy his administration describes as a cornerstone of economic transformation. The signing ceremony, which took place at the president's office at the Jubilee House just before the 13th cabinet session, formalizes the legal framework for an initiative designed to extend industrial and commercial activity beyond the traditional working hours. In brief remarks after appending his signature, President Mahama acknowledged the high public expectations surrounding the legislation, stating that it was a key campaign promise that had required careful legislative handling. He said, and I quote, "This is a law Ghanaians have been waiting for. It is one of our flagship strategies for economic transformation." He explained that it had taken a while to come through, but quote, "we needed to go patiently through the process to give legal effect to it. And so from now, we must move from strategy to implementation."
Okay, so let me stay with matters of the last few days. Cocoa farmers have embarked on demonstration of a price cut. We brought you that story yesterday in our news bulletins. Now, page 3 of the news center has a story. It says hundreds of cocoa farmers across key cocoa growing belts of the country have taken to the streets in protest against the mid-season reduction in cocoa producer prices. Now, describing the decision as a severe blow to their livelihoods and a betrayal of the campaign promises made by the current government. Now, the protests, which erupted in parts of the western, north, central, and Ashanti regions, follow the government's downward adjustment of the cocoa farm gate price from some 3,625 Ghana cedis to 2,587 Ghana cedis per 64 kilograms bag for the remainder of the crop season. And it goes on to provide further details.
I go online to bring you some other angles to this particular one. Government targets 30 billion Ghana cedi domestic bond to support COCOBOD. This is citynewsroom.com. Member of Parliament Finance Committee Atta Issa has disclosed that the government is planning to raise about 30 billion Ghana cedis through a syndicated domestic bond to support the operations of the Ghana COCOBOD. Speaking to City News on Thursday, February 19, 2026, Atta Issa explained that the funds are intended to strengthen COCOBOD's working capital and stabilize the cocoa sector. Now, still on this, guess what Adongo has been saying? The Honorable Member for the People of where Adongo. I'll bring you that. He says that Akufo-Addo appointees must be whipped over cocoa crisis. CityNewsroom.com store. Majority in Parliament has claimed that the appointees of the previous Akufo-Addo administration deserve severe punishment for the alleged mismanagement of the cocoa sector. The comments come amid ongoing challenges in the industry, prompting the government of President Mahama to introduce reforms aimed at stabilizing cocoa production. So, addressing journalists, Chairman of Parliament Finance Committee Isaac Adongo accused officials under the previous administration of failing to properly manage critical logistics at the Ghana COCOBOD. Politics.
Let me quickly draw your attention to a story that you raised earlier.
Yes.
The Herald is finally here, and it says mystery surrounds murder of Sami Jemfi's father-in-law by armed robbers. This is a particularly heartbreaking story, and we grieve with the family and pray that they have the courage to deal with this very troubling situation. Now, the father-in-law of Sami Jemfi, Chief Executive Officer of Gold Board, has died after sustaining gunshot wounds during an alleged armed robbery at his residence in Kumasi in the Ashanti region. Now, the deceased, Mr. Kakra, was reportedly attacked on Friday, the 13th of February 2026. Now, despite receiving intensive medical treatment, he succumbed to his injuries on Wednesday, the 18th day of February, exactly 5 days after the attack. Now, conflicting accounts have emerged about the circumstances surrounding the incident. Now, some reports claim that nothing was taken from the house, raising suspicion about the motive for the attack. If you're interested in this story, please go to the relevant pages of the Herald for this morning. Really, 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 really terrible. We wish the family all the very best of
Indeed,
strength.
our condolences. Let me go to the Informer newspaper. Kisia Jabing survives Machiavellian tactics as baseless petitions fall apart. There's a similar story on the Daily Gist. EC boss escapes mosquitoes dagger. Page 3 has the details. But just to sum it all up, the Informer is reporting that Special Prosecutor William Kisia Jabing has survived what analysts describe as Machiavellian tactics aimed at forcing him out of office following the dismissal of removal petitions by the Chief Justice Paul Bafo-Boni. The petitions, which were submitted under constitutional provisions governing the removal of heads of independent constitutional bodies, alleged misconduct and questioned Mr. Ajipeng's fitness to remain in office as head of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Following a review of the petitions and the Special Prosecutor's response, the Chief Justice determined that no prima facie case had been established to warrant the setting up of a committee to investigate the allegations further. The story goes on to talk about Mahama backing the OSP earlier last year, and also Martin Pebu's boast that he has I think mother of all petitions. So you want to get details of that.
We'll see about it. I bring you a raft of stories online. Strong currency but expensive power. AGI president explains why prices stay high. So the strengthening CD alone cannot bring prices down. President of the Association of Ghana Industries, Dr. Kofi Nsiampoku, has said he insists that businesses are still grappling with past losses, high utility costs, and fragile economic confidence. So while Guta is reducing its prices and urging its members to do same, AGI is telling us that they are unable to do so immediately for the aforementioned reasons. Now, if you go to citinewsroom.com, what I read was on my joy. Okada accidents claim 4 lives daily as road fatalities rise. Manuel Ayama writes on citinewsroom.com that the Ghana Institution of Engineering has reviewed that an average of 10 people die daily from road crashes in Ghana, with 4 of those deaths resulting from motorcycle accidents, popularly known as Okada. According to the institution, and published data from the Building and Road Research Institute exposes significant gaps in the road safety and policy management implementation. Details of this are on citinewsroom.com. To the annoying story, Burkina Faso killings, Parliament inquiry debate over Poalugu Dam delay. So heated exchanges erupted in Parliament on Thursday over the delayed Poalugu multi-purpose dam during a debate on the killing of 8 Ghanaian tomato traders by a terrorist group in Burkina Faso. Some members of the majority caucus argued that that had the project been completed on schedule, it could have strengthened domestic agricultural production and reduced exposure to security risks along the border. And you should watch the charade of a debate that our MPs got themselves engaged in, while our compatriots, each of them, had lost their lives painfully to those terrorists.
It was just completely unacceptable, an unacceptable conduct from our members of parliament. Yes, you want to say something?
Yes, so I just want to quickly bring you a story from the Daily Guide, page 6. AG failed to make case against me, according to Wound to Me. And Jibril Abdul Razak writes, the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, NPP, Bernard Ntriboisiakon, also known as Wound to Me, who is accused of facilitating others to mine on his Akonta mining concession at Samraboy without lawful authority, has asked the court to dismiss the case against him, as the Attorney General has failed to establish a case against him and his company. According to a submission of no case to answer filed by his lawyers, the prosecution's case suffers from fundamental and fatal deficiencies, both in terms of the absence of evidence on essential elements and in terms of the quality and reliability of the evidence adduced.
Okay, and finally, if you go to the Herald newspaper, Ghana goes ruthless with Russian sex video maker. The story says Ghana has hit back at the man who stormed the country and secretly recorded several Ghanaian women allegedly having sex with him, releasing his passport details, which confirmed his nationality as Russian, as widely reported in the Ghanaian media. It goes on to provide further details. If you're interested, grab a copy of the Herald.
The final one will be the High Street Journal, Bernard Able's Courage, Ghana's healthcare failure and the business cost we ignore. When Bernard erupted on air over the death of a hit-and-run victim who was reportedly turned away by major hospitals, it did not feel like performance. It felt personal, it felt human, and that is why it has struck such a deep chord. According to reports, the young man was taken to Ridge Hospital, then to Police Hospital, and later Kodobu Teaching Hospital. At each stop, the explanation was the same: no beds. He eventually died. Bernard Avlet did not dress it up in polite language. He called it shameful, he called it evil, and many Ghanaians quietly nodded in agreement. This is usually framed as a healthcare story. It is that, yes, but it also has a business story. Every serious investor asks one basic question before committing money: can my people live and work safely here? Details are on the High Street Journal. Thank you. That was the news review.